All right, so let's dive into the story that'll really get you thinking.
Okay.
It all starts on like a totally normal Saturday afternoon
Mm.
at the Oakwood Plaza Mall in Lexington, Kentucky.
All right.
Families are shopping and kids are like grabbing snacks at the food court.
Yeah, just a typical weekend, you know?
Exactly. It's like the usual scene. But then things take a turn.
Oh,
Yeah. Get this. A man walks in wearing a bright red Metier hat,
wow.
and the whole atmosphere just changes like instantly.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
It's crazy how one piece of clothing can do that.
Right. It's like a symbol that everyone reacts to.
Definitely. It says a lot about how we perceive things.
Yeah, the rumors start flying immediately.
Like what?
Oh, people are whispering, is that Elon Musk? And grabbing their phones to record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the crowd grows, and eventually John Whitaker, the mall manager, hears about it.
Now, John's a real stickler for rules, right?
Oh, yeah, he's all about order, and they have this strict policy against any political displays.
So I bet he wasn't too thrilled about this.
Not at all. He sees it as a direct challenge to his authority and the mall's neutrality.
Interesting. So what did he do?
Well, he goes straight up to the man and politely asks him to take the hat off or leave, but the man refuses. He says he won't remove it.
Oh, wow. That's a tough situation.
Right. What would you do?
I mean, it's tricky. You want to enforce the rules, but also you don't want to escalate things.
Yeah, it's like feeding into the very polarization they're trying to avoid.
Exactly.
And the crowd is going wild. Some support the mall's policy, others defend the man's right to wear the hat.
It's like everyone's picking sides.
Totally. And of course, the whole thing is being live streamed and blowing up on social media.
Oh, man, talk about adding fuel to the fire.
Right, it becomes this huge thing.
Social media has such a big impact these days.
For sure. Okay, so back to the mall. In the middle of all this, the man calmly takes off his sunglasses.
Yeah.
It is Elon Musk.
No way.
Yeah, but here's the twist. He's not there to make a political statement.
Really? Then what's he doing there?
He's there because of a letter.
A letter?
Yeah, it's a really unexpected turn of events.
So it wasn't about politics at all.
Not even close. It turns out this whole thing started with a letter.
That's interesting.
The letter was from a 21-year-old food court employee named Kaylee.
Kaylee.
Yeah. She's been struggling with her mom's medical bills and trying to save for college.
Wow.
She wrote to Musk looking for advice, not financial help.
That's pretty brave reaching out to someone like Elon Musk.
Right. It takes a lot of courage. She could have just kept struggling silently.
Yeah. It shows a belief in human connection, like hoping someone might understand.
And Musk was clearly moved by her letter.
That sounds like it.
He tells the crowd that Kaylee didn't ask for a handout, just some guidance.
Wow.
And then get this. He presents her with a check for $50,000 to invest in her future.
$50,000.
It's incredibly generous.
Right.
But it also raises some questions.
Like what?
Well, is this pure altruism or is there some self-interest involved?
That's a good point. It makes you think about the motivations behind these big acts of giving.
It does. It's
Yeah.
not always clear-cut.
Exactly. There are so many factors at play.
And it also highlights the issue of privilege.
How so?
Well, would Kaylee's story have had the same impact if she hadn't reached out to someone as influential as Elon Musk?
I see your point. Not everyone has that kind of access.
Exactly. It makes you wonder how many other people are struggling but don't have that platform.
It's a sobering thought for sure.
It really is. This whole event brings those systemic issues to light.
It does. It shows how much work we still have to do.
Definitely. This story is full of twists and turns.
It really is. It's hard to predict what will happen next.
But it's a powerful reminder that even in a world that feels divided, moments of grace can still emerge.
Absolutely. It gives me hope.
Me too.
Yeah.
It reminds us that human connection is still possible.
And that even small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect.
Exactly. We all have the power to make a difference.
For sure. This story is a great example of that.
It really is. It's a story that'll stay with me for a while.
I think it will stay with all of us.
It's a story about empathy, judgment, and the power of human connection.
And it all started with a man in a MAGA hat.
Who would thought?
It just goes to show you never know what's going to happen.
That's for sure. This story is full of surprises.
And it's not over yet.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of this incredible story after the break.
And you know, we can't forget about John, the mall manager in all of this.
Oh, yeah.
He went from like strictly enforcing the rules
Right.
to witnessing this like really generous act.
Yeah.
All because of that one letter.
It's like a total shift in perspective for him.
Totally.
I wonder what was going through his mind as he was watching this all unfold.
I bet he was thinking, maybe those rules aren't always black and white.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Sometimes empathy needs to come first.
Right. Especially when you're trying to make everyone feel welcome.
Exactly.
It's about being understanding.
Definitely. And John actually took it a step further.
He did.
He, publicly apologized for his initial reaction and
Whoa.
promised to rethink the mall's policies.
That's pretty big for someone in his position.
Oh, yeah. Especially after being in the spotlight like that.
It shows he's willing to learn and grow.
Totally. It's a good example for all of us.
For sure. It's like the whole mood of the mall changed after that.
I bet it went from tension to a sense of community.
Yeah, exactly. It became a place where kindness won out.
And that feeling, it didn't stay at the mall.
What do you mean?
This whole thing went viral online.
Really?
Yeah, people everywhere were talking about it.
Wow.
It sparked conversations about empathy and judging others and small acts of kindness.
It's amazing how one event can have such a big impact.
It is. It shows how connected we all are.
And think about it. The MAGA hat, which seemed like a main issue, kind of faded into the background.
Yeah, it's like the focus shifted to something more meaningful.
It became a story about human connection.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that Musk didn't try to take advantage of the situation.
Like he didn't seek attention for himself.
Yeah, he left quietly and avoided interviews.
It's like he wanted the focus to be on Kaylee and her story.
It's refreshing to see that kind of humility.
Right. It makes his actions even more impactful.
Totally. It's a reminder that true generosity doesn't need recognition.
This whole story is wild.
It really is. It's full of twists and turns.
And it reminds us that even in a world that feels divided, good things can still happen.
Absolutely. It gives me hope for the future.
Me too.
Yeah.
It shows that human connection is still possible.
We just have to be open to it.
And willing to look beyond our initial judgments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This story is a powerful reminder of that.
It really is. It's a story that I think will stick with us for a long time.
I agree. It's a story about hope and the power of human connection.
As we wrap up our deep dive into this whole thing, I keep thinking, what does it all mean? What can we actually take away from this?
Well, I think it reminds us not to jump to conclusions. Remember the guy with the MAGA hat?
Yeah.
At first, he seemed like he was trying to cause trouble.
Right.
But he turned out to be incredibly generous.
And John, too.
Oh, yeah.
So focused on the rules, he almost missed a truly amazing moment.
It's like we all make snap judgments sometimes.
We do.
And this story challenges us to look closer.
Like to be more curious about people.
Exactly.
Everyone has a story.
And it's worth hearing.
It also makes you think about what if things had gone differently?
Oh, yeah.
Like what if John had kicked Musk out?
Or what if Kaylee hadn't sent that letter?
It's crazy to think how different things could have been.
Right. Those small
Yeah.
choices can have big consequences.
It's a reminder to be present and intentional
Absolutely.
because you never know what you might miss.
Exactly.
So what do we do with all of this?
I think it's a call to action for all of us.
In what way?
To be more empathetic, more open-minded,
Mhm.
to see the humanity in everyone.
Even those we disagree with.
Exactly.
And to look for those small acts of kindness we can do.
Yeah, how can we each make the world a little better?
It's a powerful question.
And one we should all be asking ourselves.
So as you go about your day, take a moment to really look around. You never know what amazing stories are unfolding right in front of you.
That's true.
And remember, even a simple act of kindness can make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been a truly incredible story.
It has, and it's one that I think will stay with us for a long time.
I agree. It's a reminder that even in a world that feels divided, moments of grace and human connection are still possible.
And that those moments often happen when we least expect them.
So let's all try to be a little more open, a little more kind, and a little more willing to see the good in others.
I think that's a great way to end this deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep those amazing stories coming.